guys, this is Tina. Welcome back to my channel. So I'm still in the process of doing my clear up, and I thought I would come along and do a few more, you know, finishing up of partially finished projects. So I've just pulled a bunch of stuff out of my sort of partially finished projects box, and I just thought I would come along and you know, finish them off. Some of them, like these, I mean, they really just need a bit of inking, and that's, you know, pretty much it, to be honest. So let's just get started on these ones. So these are the originals. I've done a digital of these, but these are the actual originals. So they're the actual collaged page, but the digital, I think you get 2 collage pages and these small sort of cards, you know, and I would use them as just pockets in a journal. But I just love how they look. They've got the blue stitching and they look really, really pretty, I think, with the blue, you know, the blue thread around them. So all I've got to do with these really is just, you know, a bit of a tidy up. So cutting off, you know, any loose threads or anything like that. And then, I mean, actually, I was going to ink these. I actually don't think they even need inking. I think they look really, really, really pretty, just exactly as they are. So I'm not, you know, I'm not even going to ink those. But I will just have a look and see whether I want to add anything like of course, bling. Or we could add any like flower trims or anything like that. So I'm thinking I've got some blue flowers. Let me just pull them in. They're in my little bag behind my desk. So let me just get them. Okay. Oh, that's not really the right colour blue, is it? Well, it's not too bad. What do you guys think? I mean, it is a little bit on the sort of baby blue side, you know, so I'm not sure whether it goes that brilliantly, but I have got now will I be able to get to it on my little shelf? I keep all my little ink pads, you know, my distress ink pads and my stays on piled up on that titchy shelf behind my desk, and I mean, it is a very, very small shelf, so whether I can get to what I'm after without tipping everything down is a whole nother story. But I'm just going to have a look through, because a while back, there it is. A while back I bought that gorgeous, I think it's peacock, oh, blueprint sketch. I don't know why, but I thought it was called peacock feathers, but that must have been another one. So I thought we could just have a look. I don't know whether this is going to be the right sort of colour, but what we could do is try and ink up a little bit on the flower with that. So let me just get a different colour pad, because if I use obviously the you know, my blending brush, it's just going to then be right. I've got this one. It's not even on the thing, as you can see, but never mind, we'll just go for it anyway. So just if I ink up a little bit around the edge, I'm not going right over the flower at the moment. I just want to see how it looks, and then I may fill it in or I may not. So let's just go around there, and then if I just pull that in, oh, that's quite pretty now, isn't it? So it's quite a good colour now. Do I want to go any further? Do I want to go like right the way over? I don't know, but I'm just going to go round again to make it just a bit darker still, and I'm just doing it just on those very edges. It's gorgeous colour, isn't it? And then I might just do a little dab in the middle. There we go. Right, so I'm going to keep this handy because I may do that with, you know, with anything else. So I'll just keep that blue out and handy. Okay, so do we want that on there? Oh, you see, now I've put it there, and now again I'm thinking, oh, perhaps it's a bit too blue. Maybe it would be better on this one. That's probably prettier, or better anyway. So yeah, perhaps we'll have it on here. Maybe there. Yeah, maybe there, I think. So just going to attach that there, like that, with the hot glue. Oops, that's now just got a big lump of hot glue stuck on my mat. There we go. Luckily, everything just peels off of these mats. They're just fantastic. Right, now I've got some bling here. Again, I mean, I don't necessarily think that these even need the bling. They're just gorgeous as they are. I mean, they look quite natural and gardeny, and the bling sort of changes that. So, to bling or not to bling? That's the question. What do you think? I mean, I always love bling, but weirdly I'm thinking maybe, just maybe this time, I might just not have the bling. Yeah, I might be just, you know, really different and not have the bling. But I have got some dictionary definitions and things like that. So I just pull those in and see whether we want to have anything like that. Whoops. Sorry, I'm just dropping everything today. It's obviously going to be another one of those days. Flower. That's perfect, isn't it? So I'm just going to pop that one on there. And that just looks super pretty. It just fills in that corner. I mean, I didn't dislike it being the plain text, but this looks even prettier still, doesn't it? So I'll just pop that down there. Okay. And I'm just obviously gluing that on. Okie dokie. So pretty. And I mean, to me, I just think that's all that really needs. I mean, it could, I suppose, have a couple of buttons. Should we try a couple of buttons on there? Again, I mean, I've got some buttons here ready sorted. Do you know, I'm now kind of backtracking a bit from the flower, and I can picture myself then taking that flower back off in a minute. Oh, I don't know now. I do quite like the buttons, but I'm not sure they're the right ones. Got that one, which has a little touch of blue. That's quite pretty, isn't it? So perhaps we'll just do those. Do I want them up there or down there? Actually, I quite like them up here, I think. So I'm just going to pop them down. Just one there, and then one there. Okie dokie. Oh, I have hot glue threads, literally like stringing out for miles. Sometimes they string out really a long way, don't they? That one definitely was. Right, so that one looks pretty. Now, oddly, I've now backtracked on the flower and I'm now no longer liking the flower. So I'm going to try and pick that off. Obviously, it is going to probably mark this a little bit, and I will just cover that up. So just peel that up. Just sort of trying to get it as carefully as I can. I mean, actually, to be honest, it's not really done too much damage. You know, there's a little bit of thread there. That's fine. I don't mind that. The main, you know, the main bulk is now stuck onto the flower. So I will keep that flower because I can use that another time. So I'll just put that away and just going to see if we want any buttons or anything on this. It's just that actually that flower looked a little bit, not formal exactly, but the buttons seem to just really suit these cards more than that sort of satiny type flower. Now this button just happens to have a bit of blue thread through it, so that might be kind of quite sweet. Quite sweet somewhere. Not really. It's not quite right. Honestly, I mean, I've got tons of buttons here, and it just having the right button. I thought, well, I'll just put an assortment into this section in my organizer. But you know, as is often the case, I've got everything but the button that I need. So I've still got my little bag of vintage buttons here beside me, so I'll just have a look and see whether I've got any blue ones in here. I probably haven't, to be honest, but you never know, do you? So, oh, there we go. So I've got a navy blue one, which is pretty good. I mean, these, well, they're not really the right colour, actually. I was going to say would look great, but yeah, it's not really the right colour anyway, so that. That's quite a nice button anyway. Right, so let me get rid of these again off of my desk. Honestly, I've just dropped so many on the floor as I just swiped them back off the desk. Okay. Right, pop them back in the bag. Okay. So, yeah, these buttons are quite nice, I think. And I have also got my little set of numbers, which maybe that would look quite cute up there. So I think I'll do that. Yeah, I much prefer that to that flower for some reason. So these numbers have just been printed on copy paper, and as you can see, obviously it's copy paper that I had, you know, previously printed something else on. So just that one up there. And then we'll just pop these two buttons down here. And this one obviously is great because it's just covering up where that flower was. I mean, to be honest, not that it really needs it. You can probably see there's barely any damage there from that flower, but just, you know, just in case, I will pop it there. And then we'll just have that navy blue one, which is then picking up the sort of dark blue from the butterfly. So, okay, so that looks really nice. Yeah, these are just, for some reason, they're lending themselves really well to buttons and not so much to the, you know, more fancy kind of looking stuff. So aren't they just gorgeous? And they're just now ready to go. So I'm going to just pop those on the floor behind me for a moment, and we'll pull in the other two from that sort of matching set. So, I mean, I could try now and pick up more, you know, the orangey browny colours. So again, I've got some more of my numbers here. I could do something like that. It's quite nice, isn't it? Or I've got my book plates. Let me just bring those in. A lot of these I'd printed on, you know, the glossy paper when I was using that. So I'm not quite so sure that glossy is quite right for this, but actually that looks quite nice on there, I think. So I wonder if we could have that on there. So that's quite nice because those colours, they're quite rich in that colour, and it's just bringing out the, you know, the orangey of the butterfly, I think. So, right, let's just pop those down. Okay, just pop that there. I don't very often not distress things, to be honest, but for some reason, I just think these actually look quite nice, not distressed. They're, I just love the colours and things, so I feel like the distressing would actually possibly, you know, take away from that, and they look really good as they are. Okay, so that's that one. Again, personally, I mean, I don't really think that that needs anything else. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to have the sort of, you know, faux Diamante trim or anything like that on there. Again, I could put some buttons on perhaps. But then, you know, we don't want to go button crazy, do we? And just have buttons on everything, although that's quite nice. I mean, that's a really big button, but for some reason it does look quite nice on there. Gosh, so sorry, did you just hear that really noisy motorbike outside? It was really loud, so yeah, sorry about that. Okay, just having a look to see if there's any other little sort of brownie buttons that would be good on here. No, I can't really find any in particular. I've got that one, which I think must have gone with that. So, yeah, I mean, we could just have a little... I mean, even that's quite sweet down there, actually. Yeah, I quite like it down there. So I'm just going to pop this one on just down there. Okay, so that's that one. And then on this one, again, I'm just going to put the notes like here, just to the side. Okay, pop that down like that. Okie dokie, and do we want to have any buttons? I mean, again, actually the button's quite nice there. The only thing is, does it look like a sort of line then? Don't want a sort of line of stuff, do we? So we could have them. I might not have buttons on this one. What do you think? On or off? I like it either way, to be honest, but I'm going to leave them off, I think. So that's those 4 done now. I mean, as you can see, this one, all I did was literally add this, but it just does, you know, bring a little something extra to that. I mean, actually, I could probably put just a little number somewhere. Maybe we could have like a black number or something. Is that quite striking? Again, I've got that line thing going on. Got these little ones. Could just have that there, actually. It just, you know, it just sort of changes it just slightly. So yeah, I will have this one, I think. Okay. Okie dokie. So press that one down and then that's done. Okay, so I'm going to put those down behind me now. So that's 4 things done now from that huge overspilling pile. And then I've got some other ones that I've got, you know, very similar. So if I just bring those in. Oops. So, yep, I've got these ones which are very similarly done in that they were the original collage sheet. I'm just going to put that ink pad away that I'd used for the blue. They were the original collage sheet, and as you can see, I've just kind of stitched a cigarette card on them and then some lace trim, top and bottom. So this would be like a belly band on a page. So again, I might just put in, I've got just this black number. So, I mean, it's just really, it adds another, you know, another layer of interest really, doesn't it? And again, I actually don't think these particularly need inking. I think they look really just lovely as they are. And for these, I might have the bling, I think. Now, the top or the bottom, that's the question. Top or bottom? Decisions. I like it either way. Which do you think? That's the problem. I actually think it's really nice whether it's the top or the bottom. I think I'm going to go for the bottom. So we'll just, again, hot glue that on. Like that. Okay. There we go. Oops. Sorry, I just then sort of pulled it with the threads that are now stuck on me. So that's really nice, isn't it? And then I've got some postage stamps here, which there's a little sort of brown one, which would look quite good, wouldn't it? So I might have that there. Where do I want that? Where do I want that? Maybe it should just be there. That's quite nice, isn't it? So I'm just going to pop that down. It's a really good colour against that. I think that's a pheasant, but I can't really see, to be honest, whether that's a pheasant or not. And I'm probably it's not a pheasant, and I'm just quoting some rubbish now. Not really that au fait with my birds. Right. Now, I'm wondering whether on this one we could just add a little foldy flap, because I just, you know, love to add the foldy flappy bits. So again, let me just see whether I've got some coffee dyed paper that I could just use. I've got this. So I'm just going to cut down a little piece. Like that. My gosh, that's just the worst cutting ever, I have to say. So I'm just going to fold that, sorry, like this. And then what we can do is have that there and then fold it back on itself. And then obviously I'll just trim it down here at the edge. Like that. Okay. And then obviously best trim that awful cutting up, because my gosh, that was just horrendous, wasn't it? Okay, oh, I don't think that's much better, to be honest. Oh, this is going to be another one of those scenarios where my paper's just getting smaller and smaller by the second. Okay, right, that's not too bad. And then obviously we best decorate the front. Now really the front, you know, I feel needs to be something tying in a little bit with what's on here. So let's just have a look and see what I've got. Again, laying just around on my desk. And now I have got this napkin. I'm not sure that that's quite the right thing. Got some of my fussy cut butterflies. This is where again I should really probably just have not really gone off winging it. Or actually I'm loving this. So this is just a stamped image of a postcard, but I love that colour. So I'm going to scrap the idea of this. I won't throw this away because obviously I can use this on something else, but I love the colour of this postcard here. So instead I'm going to do the flap there like that. Now, do I have it lower down where you can see the bird, or sort of covering the bird up? I think I'm going to have this low down so as you can see the bird. So I'm just going to literally glue this on here at the back. I mean, I know I've talked about this so many times, and you know, you've all heard me say it so many times. I love this craft coloured card. I just love it. It just always looks so good. You know, I just would say 9 times out of 10, wherever you put this craft coloured card, it looks awesome. So yeah, I really, really love it. Now I've got a bird here from my fussy cut birds. Obviously I've partially cut it out. Don't ask me why I would have partially cut it like that, but there we go. I obviously was probably cutting it and then suddenly spotted something else and then swapped and used something else instead. I don't actually remember doing this, but there we go. So I'm just thinking colour and theme wise, this may, you know, may go quite well on this. So just cut that down. Okay, so what I will do, although I'm not going to ink this up, I'm just going to ink this up because I've got the white space in between the, you know, the bird's legs in there. So just ink that a little bit like that and just ink around him, just because, you know, anywhere where my fussy cutting's not been so great, if you just ink it up, it sort of disguises any shoddy cutting really. So that's, you know, that's all I'm doing there. So he looks good on there, doesn't he? And then I think what I'll do is just tuck in behind him a little sort of number piece. And then that just ties that in a little bit better. So that looks really good, doesn't it? And I would just, again, ink this up. I mean, obviously it's not really picking up a lot of ink because it is essentially sort of black, but we'll just, okay. And we just pop that there, pop that down just behind there, like that. Whoops. Okay, oh. And then we'll just then glue this down. Yep, so I hope everyone's having a good day. Hope you're doing some crafting, having a nice time. We've got sort of sunshine here. Sunny, but a bit chilly, if I'm honest. Sunny, but a bit chilly. But hey, it could be worse. It is dry. Doesn't sound like it's too windy, so it's not too bad. There we go. So that's another piece done. And I just love how that looks. Hopefully you guys can see it. I'm just going to stand up and check your in frame and that I'm filming, because I mean stranger things have happened. Okay, so I'm going to pop that on the floor behind me now. Now I'm going to pull in this one. So this is very similar to the butterfly pieces with the blue thread. So again, I just need to trim up, you know, trim off my hangy threads. I don't mind a bit of threads, but these were kind of right the way across the front of it, so probably not great. And obviously, I mean, I must have made these quite a long time ago because it was clearly before I learned how to use my sewing machine. Not that I'm great now, I'm not claiming to be an expert or anything, but I don't get constantly this effect going on at the back now, so it is better. Right, so again, I've just got one of those black numbers, and I just think they just add a little something, don't they? I mean, it doesn't really need inking up because of course it's black, but I will just ink it up a little bit, because anywhere where you've got the torn edges that look a little bit whiter, it's just covering those. And again, I'm not going to ink this because I just think it looks lovely, you know, as it is really. So I'm not going to actually ink that up. Perhaps we could have something like a word, or what else have I got here? Oops, I'm just standing up now and leaning across the desk, so sorry about that. Right. Don't want that blue flower. I've got these. Again, that might be a little bit sort of formal looking. I've got some little orange flowers in my tray of goodies. No, that's very orange, wasn't it? Very, very orange. Okay, I've got those buttons. I'm going to pull those buttons back that I didn't use earlier. That looks quite nice, doesn't it? I just want something down here, and I'm not quite sure what, so let's just have a look. Okay. Just having a look through my, you know, my little file things beside me, or, you know, that I'm trying to get organised with. I mean, it is pretty handy to have them. Yep, I'm just having a look through my little files, you know, beside me, my little foldery pieces. Because it is quite handy to have them, you know, in these organised things. They are making life easier for me, I must admit. And then I have got lots of butterflies in here. So let's just see. Sorry if I've knocked the table. I'm just seeing whether I've got any butterflies that would look good. I know there is a butterfly, obviously, on the piece itself. But, you know, there's no reason why you couldn't have another. That's quite nice, isn't it? That one or this one? Let's just check. Oh, there's probably really nothing much in it, but actually, weirdly, I do think I prefer this. Right. So again, I'm just going to ink this up, although I haven't inked the piece up, but just to get rid of any white edges that you can just still see. So like that. Okay. Right. So I'm just going to pop this down here like that. Okie dokie. And then I think we'll have the buttons up here. Yeah, it does kind of need the buttons on this one, I think, because it was just looking a little bit plain in that corner, I think. So there we go. Like that. Okay. Okie dokie. And then I'm just going to glue this butterfly down. We'll just use the hot glue because that's just nice and quick. There we go. So, I mean, they're really not taking very much effort at all to put these pieces together. You know, I mean, obviously the hard work was done making the collage in the first place and then stitching them together. But I mean, now, whoops, now they are essentially just, you know, in need of one or two just finishing touches. So, you know, they look really nice, don't they? I'm just wondering, because I have got those postage stamps, which they're all in shades of sort of orange and things. So just wonder whether we could have one of those. This feels very thick. It must still be on the envelope, I think, on the back. Wonder if we could have that just... Oh, that's a bit sort of in a line, which I'm not so keen on. it's just pointless being up there because you don't see it. Right, maybe I'll have a stamp on the next one. So that's that one. Again, another one bites the dust there. And then we've got this one here. So let's not forget the postage stamp. Now I can't now see whether that's up the right way or up the wrong way. Oh gosh, got my glasses on my head. Hold on a moment. Oh, I can't really see even now. I think it's this way. Let's just hope I've got it the right way. I probably haven't, to be honest. It wouldn't really surprise me at all. Right, so let's have that there. So I'm going to stick that on, and then what I'll do is just do that postage stamp over the top, because I love how that looks. I mean, obviously, as you can see, this has got the, you know, the postage stamp mark still there from, you know, from the original where it was an actual stamp. But it doesn't hurt to restamp it, does it? So get the postage stamp that's in my drawer here. Oh, she says now, famous last words, I now can't spot it anywhere. I do just keep my few favourite stamps here in my drawer, which then are just really handy to use, except for today. Except for today, which it's now not handy at all. Okay, right, it was in the drawer still, but it was just buried. I knew that it was in there, but of course the drawer's not that big, and it's pretty squashed up, so right, we'll just stamp there. There we go. So I mean, obviously you've got the original stamping, but just a little bit over, but you know, it's fine. I mean, actually it just merges in and looks like it was the original part of the stamp, so it doesn't look too bad at all. Right, now my drawer's wedged, completely wedged. And then what was the thing that I thought just now? I saw something just now and I thought, oh, we can have that there. What was it? Unless I just was hanging on to have that other butterfly on here. I've got that butterfly. That's not really the right colours. It's funny, isn't it? How you know, that just the wrong colour butterfly can really, you know, really make a difference. So I've got here just bloom. I wonder whether I've got cherish, wonderful. Let me just cut out this one because this one's a bit smaller and says wonderful. And just check this one. Yeah, I think I prefer the smaller one. So we're just going to have that there, I think. Do we want anything else on here? Not sure. So let's just pop this down. Okay. Okie dokie, so that looks really nice. And then, should we have a number or anything on there? Let's just have a look. Oh, has that got that look again? That lined up look again. Sorry about that. If you can hear my daughter just singing, she's about to go to the park. So she's now singing around, obviously can't wait to go. Right, I'm just going to leave it like that, I think. Yeah, I think I'm just going to go for that. Do I want to have a bow or anything on there? The bow does look quite cute, doesn't it? Yeah. So this bow obviously is one that I've made, and ordinarily I would pull these kind of what I would term as legs. I would pull them down so the bow looked more, you know, like that. But weirdly, it just goes quite well like this because it's like dead in line with the, you know, with the stitching. So I'm just going to attach that, you know, like that in that sort of spread out line formation, if that makes sense. Doesn't that look so nice? Let me just make sure it's stuck properly, and then I will show you. Just looks really nice, doesn't it? So yeah, right, that's that one. Put that on the floor, and let me just again check the time. Right, so probably got time for a couple more, so let's just pull in. Let's do a different one now, just so that we're, you know, we're not doing all the same ones. So, oh, that one is decorated. That one is decorated, and madly, I'd obviously just had that in the unfinished box, you know, for some other reason. Right, I've got this one, which is one of those, you know, tuck-in pockets. So as you can see, I mean, I've kind of started this quite a bit. I've obviously folded in the formation. I've stitched it all round on the sewing machine like that. And then here I've just stuck on some doily and a little, you know, piece of fabric and some lace. So this one, again, let's just see what we can pop on here. So have I got any stamps that would be a good colour for this? Again, I've got a brown one. I guess we could have that there, couldn't we? On top of the sort of cluster, or we could have had it up there. Perhaps we'll have it up there and do a postage stamp, and then down here, oh, that's quite nice, that flower. So I'm just going to ink this flower up here, like that. Okay, we'll just pop that flower there, I think, like that. So okay, and I'm just going to ink this stamp up a little bit. I mean, obviously this is a vintage stamp, but you know, sometimes they're not really particularly discoloured or anything. So just going to discolour it a little bit more, make it look a little bit more vintage than it actually truly is. Okay. Oh my gosh. So we'll pop that there. Well, now I'm thinking I need to ink the piece itself. So I'm going to actually ink this one up. Obviously I haven't really done much inking in this, you know, on the pieces so far, but this one I just feel it does need a bit of ink, especially now that the stamp is inked. Otherwise the stamp was looking a little bit out of place, I think. So right, so we've got that like that. We could probably have another stamp, you know, popped with that. That's really nice, isn't it? So let's just pop those two down. Okay, so there we go, one, and then this one. Oh my gosh, come on. Okay, right, so they're on now, and then do I need to postage mark those? Probably don't really need to, but I will do, I think. So I was about to reach in my drawer, then remembered it was jammed shut now. But anyway, it's fine because my postmark stamp is still out from the previous one. So we've got that there, and then I will just add a little bit of trim, I think somewhere here. So I've just got a little bit here laying around on the desk, so we could just have that, to be honest. Oh, that's quite nice, isn't it? Just at an angle. I mean, there was a tendency to want to go right the way down the side, but I feel like that looks very uniform. So if I just show you, you know, with this lace here, I mean, that does look nice, but I feel like that's quite uniformy. Whereas just having this piece here, you know, that looks quite nice to me. Although, now I've said that, let me double check. I mean, also don't forget, when this is stuck into a journal, you know, you might have something else on the page. You might put some ruffle or something, depending on which way round this is attached. So, you know, you don't want to necessarily have every bit of decoration on here, because then that might not leave you much room for when you actually stick it into a journal. So we'll just pop that one down like that. Okay, let me get my wipe. Press that down. Okay. Oh my gosh. Right. Okay, that looks really nice, doesn't it? Now, do we want any bling or anything really? Let's just have a look again. Oh, again, I have got that little bow, which, how cute does that look? Oh gosh, now I have that glue just all over me. That's every time I touch anything now, it's just pulling it off. Okay, well that is quite sweet. Now I'm going to just ink this up slightly because I don't know whether you can see, but it's a sort of beige and white. And although it goes pretty well, I feel like the white sort of stands out a bit like a sore thumb. So we'll just ink that up a touch. There we go. That looks better, doesn't it? So I'll just then hot glue that on. Okay. So that's that one. Oh, that looks really nice, doesn't it? Yeah, I love how that looks. Right, let me put that on the floor behind me now. And should we do one more? Have we got time for one more? Yeah, let's do one more. Okay, well, this one, again, a bit different. So I've got a 3-page pocket here. As you can see, it's kind of, you know, oh, what am I trying to say? It's formed. It's formed, as in it's, you know, been put together and assembled. I've stuck some things down, so it's kind of, you know, partially done. So I'm going to ink this one up. I just think different things, you know, require different things, and this to me just looks like it needed inking. So I'm just inking all around this like that. Okay, so that looks really nice now. And then again, I've got some of my little numbers, and I mean, actually I've got these pinky ones which are kind of nice, aren't they? Right, let me just ink a couple up and we'll just see. Oops. Just see how these look on here. So we've got that one. This might be a little bit too big, but oh, that's quite nice. Yep, I quite like that, to be honest. So I might have that there now. Probably don't really want another one, but just in case, I'll just ink this and see. And obviously this one's now quite purpley compared to that, so it's probably not ideal anyway, but weirdly I don't really mind it. So right, I'm just going to pop this down here in the first instance. So we just tuck that behind here like that. And then I've got some words. So I've got beautiful. Let's just tear that down. Okie dokie. Just ink this up again. Okay. Right, so that word looks really nice there, doesn't it? I still undecided with the number. Let me just see what other pieces I've got. Right, so I've dug around and I've dug out a few little bits and pieces here. So I actually also dug out these flowers because I just held them there and I thought, ooh, now it does look quite fussy, but when you take them away, it then looks really quite boring. So again, I'm kind of now, oh, shall I use some, you know, some pretty flowers, I think. So yeah, I might have to do that. Now, just dug out a whole bunch of little numbers just in case. I don't know yet, you know, whether I do want to use any, to be honest. Yeah, I'm just debating, but I do quite like these flowers down here. I mean, it's weird because I wouldn't necessarily say that, you know, I would have automatically picked them, but there's something kind of nice about them being there. So, oh my gosh, that was another really noisy motorbike. So, don't know whether it was the same one going back past, but it's very noisy. Okay, so I've got that flower there. Now, which way round do I want these? I can sort of, right, let me just cut these down a little bit. Okay, so I'm just going to ink this little flower up a bit, not too much, but just a bit, so like that. Okay, so that looks pretty, doesn't it? And then we'll just decide whether we do want anything up here or not. Unless we have the flowers up there now, I'm thinking. Oh, they're quite nice, aren't they? I'm now feeling, should I dig out some more flowers? It's strange because this was not supposed to be a florally piece. Sorry, I'm jogging the table every time I stand up. I do apologise. Right, let's have a look. Not sure now. I think I like the flowers up there, and yeah, I might have to just dig out some other flowers in a minute. I did have a little bit of a rummage through my little pot to see whether I had any others that were just right, but you know, as is always the case, I've got so many things in there, but not quite the thing that I was, you know, looking for. So yeah, might have to quickly have another rummage in another sort of bag that I've got. So put those there. Obviously I have still got that word. Right, let's have a look. And I've got this little rose. Oh, that's quite pretty. Right, let me just ink this one up now. Well, this is very strange because, I mean, I did not have this in mind for this piece at all. But don't you think that's sometimes how it goes? You know, you don't necessarily know how a piece is going to come together until you start working on it. And then it might just grow and sort of evolve in its own little way. Right, now, need to decide what, you know, what lace that I would have on here. I mean, I could have it sort of more like that. I don't want to make getting into the pocket too difficult, but hopefully that would not be too difficult. Don't know whether that's quite the right flower. Okay. Oh, it was all going so well. And now I've just come to a sort of grinding halt. Oh, that's quite nice, isn't it? Yeah, that's quite nice. And then I could always have then a bit of bling, because we don't seem to have used much bling today. It's we've had a failing on the bling front today, so it would be nice to have some somewhere. Well, we could have it down there. That looks pretty. Or we could have some here, which also looks pretty. Okay, perhaps I will go for that then. So yeah, this one took on a bit of a mind of its own, to be honest, because it was not how I planned this one to go at all, but I think I'm going to just do it like this. So let's just, oops, get the Fabri-Tac out, come on. Okay, so we'll just glue this lace down. Like that. Okie dokie. And then I have actually got some more of that slimmer crocheted lace, so I'm just going to check whether it would look better, you know, with a full piece, because obviously this was just a scrap that was on my desk, so it's not going right the way across that pocket, which, you know, I mean, that maybe doesn't matter, but we'll just see whether it looks better, you know, with a full piece across there. I mean, it probably does, doesn't it? Okay, so I'm just going to run a little bit of Fabri-Tac here. Okay. I'm going to have that hopefully slightly at an angle. I didn't want it sort of really straight across there, so hopefully it's, you know, slightly slanty. Now I'm just not sure about this flower. oops, what did I do with that word beautiful? That just flicked off there. Okay, so I'm just going to pop the word on. Just going to hot glue that so it's a little bit raised out from, you know, all the flat pieces. So that's that one. Right, need to decide what to do about that flower. Do I have that one, or shall I look for a different one? I mean, I don't mind that one, to be fair. Right, I'm going to have the trim up here. So let's go for that. Okay. Right, okay, so that's there. Oops, just make sure it's stuck down properly. Right, I just need to decide about this flower. I'm so sorry, I just can't make up my mind about that. Let me see whether I've got some flowers actually, you know, ready cut, ready to use. I know that I've got some flowers in here. No, nothing quite right in there. Okay, let me have a look in my other little folder. The one that I take, you know, when I go out with me. So, oh my gosh, everything's spilling out of here. Look, it's obviously turned upside down whilst it was in the bag. So now everything's coming out. Right, let me put those back in. I mean, this is obviously bursting at the seams now, like everything else, but let's just have a look, because I do have a whole bunch of fussy cut flowers here. No, nothing quite right in here either. So they're the same. They're the vintage notes flowers. So no. Okay. Nope, I'm not seeing anything else. Obviously, the second I stick it on, I'm going to straight away see what would have been a better flower. But oh well. For the time being, I'll just go for this. So just pop that down like that. Okie dokie. Okay, so that turned out super fussy, although some of the other ones that I've done today, you know, we barely put anything on. Wow, this one turned out, you know, it had lots and lots of bits put on there. So let me just clear the table a little bit and we can have a look at what we've made today. So we have done, let's have a look, let's clear the decks. We did this one, which, yeah, I love how that turned out. And that was definitely, you know, my plan was not for that to be so fussy at all. It just took on a life of its own. There was that one, but obviously that, you know, I haven't decorated today. I just happened to find it in with the unfinished, but it was finished. We've got this one, which I love. Isn't that gorgeous? And then we had obviously all of these ones, which were those collage papers, you know, just done with just one or two little additions, but they look really pretty, don't they? So yeah, I think we made quite a good start on clearing some of my unfinished projects. So yep, I hope you'll join me next time. I have got honestly a ton of things that still need finishing, so hopefully I will come on and do quite a few more of them with you, and I'd love it if you join me. So thank you so much, and I hope everyone has a lovely day. Stay safe, everyone, and see you guys soon. Thanks, Em. Bye.